right. So, excited about this episode. We are kicking off 2025. And so, as we think about going into the new year's and potentially making resolutions and things of that nature, what do you think, like the number one resolution that most people say they want to do, Cheryl?
For me, I want to say, I know what I should say, but I'm gonna say I want to travel more always. But I know that's not the number one. So what is the number one resolution?
I like
Because
your answer. I like where you're
yeah.
going, but it actually is the number one thing is fitness. Everybody wants to try to be more fit. Everybody wants to, um, so we're
Be more
going in,
healthy and things like that.
yeah, being
Yeah.
more healthy, being more fit. They see it as a fresh start for improving their health and well-being. So that's what we're looking at. So we're going to talk a little bit about wellness travel trends because we are travel agents and you want to travel more, I want to travel more, but we're going to combine being healthy and traveling. So talking about wellness travel trends, what is wellness travel? So those are trips focused on your physical, mental, emotional well-being, right? Um, what would you say that adding on to what is a wellness travel?
I definitely it's that's you nailed it. The main focus of it is physical, mental, and emotional well-being, like you said.
Hmm. Yeah.
What I found interesting is the Global Wellness Institute, which I didn't honestly know was I did some when we were researching for this, finding that information
Did
out.
you know that there was a global wellness
No.
institute?
So I got a lot of my information as well as I saved a lot of tabs to go back and reference for other things. The Global Wellness Institute, as well as Wellness Tourism Association, which I did know about that one.
Yep.
The Global Wellness Institute defines wellness tourism as travel associated with the pursuit of maintaining or enhancing one's personal well-being. And I
Yep.
like that because it encompasses not just your physical, but your mental, your spiritual, your social.
A lot goes into it.
Yes. And then the Wellness Tourism Association says wellness travel is travel that allows a traveler to maintain, enhance, or kickstart a healthy lifestyle and support or increase one's sense of well-being. So both
Yeah.
of them focus on, including travel in part of taking care of your mind, body, and soul, basically, which we like because we always talk about how we fill our cup and making sure we're pouring from a full cup, that kind of thing. And that's like one thing we really do talk about. Um,
Yeah.
while researching, what was interesting is a lot of the information talked about the post-pandemic increase in wellness travel, and that a lot of travelers are seeking, more balance.
Well,
And yeah,
because we were locked away for like 3 years and couldn't go anywhere or do
right.
anything.
And absolutely. And the lockdown actually showed us, statistics show that the lockdown kind of made people aware of the importance of socializing, our
Yes.
physical, mental, social, and spiritual health. And we took all that for granted until the
Yeah,
lockdown.
we were starved of it. Like that's when Zooms became really
I was just
popular.
about
Like
to say
we
that.
used to
Yeah.
get on Zooms and talk to our families and talk to our friend groups, and there was a
Yeah.
Zoom for coworkers. And because
So
we're,
it became, yeah, important. And
I
this
get
is
that.
interesting. Obviously, okay, so before in 2019, wellness tourism industry hit a high of $720 billion. It obviously reduced 51% in 2020 because no one was
We
traveling during
couldn't go
2020.
anywhere.
By
Hmm.
2023, the global wellness tourism market had fully recovered and was around 860-ish billion, which was up 33%
Yeah,
from
that
the
is up.
2019. Yeah. It's projected. Guess what is projected for 2027 to reach for the global, for wellness
Uh,
travel?
Probably if the last one was 860, I'm gonna go with like, I don't know,
So it's
a,
projected
a
by 20,
bajillion dollars.
yeah, by 20, we want a piece of that pie. We want to be a part
I
of that
know.
whole
We're
thing.
happy to help book travel,
Yes, so by
wellness travel.
2027, the market for wellness travel is projected to reach $1.4 trillion dollars. It is becoming an increasing aspect to travel. It's not there are different types of travelers, wellness travelers. I found that out as well. Like definitions, I love to have categories and titles so that it helps me and you and most travel agents understand our own clients better when we kind of understand the way they travel. So,
Yeah.
while we were doing this research and we kind of had our own thoughts on what wellness travel meant, but we found out a little bit more specific. So, what did you find out on your part of um, the types of travel experiences you get for wellness travel?
Okay. So the couple and I already do these go here. I'm all about wellness travel. As part of like my niche is yoga and meditation retreats. So that those are retreats essentially specialized in getaways. They combine relaxation, self-discovery, physical well-being, as well as mental well-being, and you do it through the practice of yoga and meditation. These are retreats that provide a space for unwinding, growing, and relaxing on a deeper level. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about, we actually, when part of my research was, I found a really cool yoga and meditation like an hour from us. And it's so cool. Maybe we'll have to go there and check it out because,
I think that sounds awesome.
yeah. And I would have never known that we had stuff right in our back door because this is, not something we've gone to yet. Yet.
Right. Well, and that's part of what was interesting about this when we were researching was where, like you had mentioned a minute ago, how you've already incorporated a lot of this in your travel. Surprisingly, what people may not realize is they actually do incorporate a lot of wellness in their travel because we
And
go on vacation for relaxation, to get away, that kind of thing. This is kind of acknowledging that for one, so that you can just give yourself a pat on the back for taking care of yourself, and
yeah.
if you want to go that step further. So one of the things that they talked about, and I think is really kind of bringing more awareness to now with all the digital nomads and the remote working and things like that, is
Yep.
self-care on the road. It's
This
how
is for you, Brian.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Our
Yeah,
digital nomad.
I yes, I didn't even think about that, but I thought about my sister-in-law who she travels up and down the East Coast, a little in towards the Midwest, because I'm not even gonna try to attempt her title, but she manages, and I say that in air quotes because I it's much bigger than that. I That's just the best description. Lots of different stores that she has to go and check on all the time, and she's always in the car traveling. And one of the
Hmm.
things they talk about is how the hospitality industry is becoming aware of that and going that step further. So the hotels are now offering more of a spa or wellness atmosphere, and even if
Yes.
they don't offer a spa, they don't have it on site, they're partnering with something local, or they're bringing in, travel spa treatments kind of thing. So and then finding the hot springs, this is one I have found a couple of times doing research for other clients that I do point out because it's unique and it does have so many benefits for your body and your soul.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of like wellness
I've never been
things.
in a hot spring either. I would like to
Me
check that out.
either.
This is on a
Yeah,
bucket list. We got to do this.
right. But a lot of hotels and hospitality businesses are really bringing in those mindful amenities that increase the wellness part of their clients.
Yeah,
One
I
that
know that
we
some Marriott hotels they focus on like instead of having a breakfast buffet, you're essentially got like a yogurt bar with smoothies and juices. Like some of their brands, their hotels cater to
Mhm.
people that are more wellness focused, and you can rent bikes, and they have bike trails for you to bike around. So that the industry is definitely stepping up and becoming more prevalent for people that are more wellness focused.
Right. I love that Marriott actually has a specific hotel that all of that specific hotel name is focused on wellness,
Right.
and it's consistent. So no matter where you
What
go
city,
for that,
yeah,
yes, you will get the same type of experience across the board.
yeah.
Another very popular one is cultural wellness. This is a trip that's focused on the traditional practices of the location's culture that you're visiting. Um,
Hmm.
this was very interesting when I was researching it. I was like, oh, because during the lockdown, this kind of all goes back to the lockdown where our
We're scarred.
awareness,
We're all scarred.
well, and it's brought so much awareness to our tiny bubbles that we were, some of us, and I say some, I don't want to say all, were keeping, because during lockdown, I got into TikTok, which has been going on 5 years now, and I'm still obsessed with, but we'll not go into the TikTok thing
Don't go down that rabbit
right
hole
now.
just
I
yet.
got to learn about so many, not just areas and cultures, but people. I got to know, I would like to say meet and greet, that kind of thing, but all I did was stalk them and follow them on their thing, but to learn so much about where they're from, their culture, their experiences, that is one of the most amazing things I find on TikTok. So, for cultural wellness, it's all about, I mean, you're experiencing the culture of where you're going. You're plugging into the local and supporting the local community and what's
But you're just saying you're doing it, but not necessarily traveling to Tibet or you're just practicing some of the cultures that they do.
everywhere where you go. And this is something that even if you're not necessarily going there to do, I think it's a good idea to keep in mind because you're respecting the destination because over tourism is a big thing and it can happen. So give back to the locals and appreciate and respect the local area that you are visiting. One of the things is like the food. Visit the local food places, learn about that, learn how they and make sure you're not leaving a really high, carbon print when you're going there.
Yeah, be
Check out
eco-friendly.
Yes, check out the workshops. A lot of places, find the locals that host the workshops that tell you about what their art is like in that area. Maybe take classes about pottery or whatever is in that area. Go to some of the classes about the music and the dance and the spiritual education and their
Yeah.
traditions and their practices, and then eco travel. Learn and participate in the community's eco needs. Make sure you're not adding to not don't be a travel or a tourist burden. Make sure you're giving back. That's what we like
Right. I agree with
to
that
bring
as
awareness
well
to.
because some places are over touristed and
Absolutely,
it
yeah.
has eco ramifications on that actual location. So be mindful of that too.
Yeah, and then, like eco travel, learning oh, I already said that, sorry, adventure wellness. This one is fun, and I guess I had subconsciously done this with my kids were little and stuff, and they were in scouts and everything, but adventure wellness is combining physical challenges like surfing, hiking, mountain biking, whitewater
Mhm.
rafting, which is something I love to do, with mindfulness. It's
Yep.
stepping out of your comfort zone and enjoying adventure and holistic experiences. So there's just so much that you can do when you're trying to do wellness travel. It's not necessarily just the spa and the retreats like that. That is a big part, but it's so, I think,
A,
deeper.
a lot, yeah. So a lot factors into this whole topic, right?
Mhm.
Um, so some of it can be short term versus long term. So let's talk about relaxation versus transformation. If you're trying to find if you're just trying to do relaxation, it's a quick reset, allowing access to the subconscious mind and releasing old patterns. This is going to be like your yoga. This is going to be your massages. This is going to be like your walks in the nature and things of that. But if you're looking more for transformation, that involves more like a deep reboot, addressing layers of tension, restoring balance to your body, your mind, your spirit. So that's going to be more of a long term base. That's going to be like your practice of meditation on a regular basis to get to that level of where you want to be. Um, so I thought that that was really interesting as well. So just to give you an example of everyday trips that you do that you might not even realize. For example, our beach trip. Remember, we just went
Yes.
to North Myrtle. We had a group of five. Yes, five
Mhm.
and we just went there for the weekend. We kind of made it work last minute. It all came together last minute, but it was so amazing to look out over. We had the balcony right on the beach. So I loved going out there in the morning and watching the sunrise. Not everybody wanted to get up. We kind of all did our own thing. But I enjoyed getting up and watching the sunrise, and we cooked together. And then you came up with this really cool, I'm going to let you talk about that because it was a simple practice, but it almost turned that into an official wellness retreat or
Right.
vacation.
And the whole point, it's interesting when we were talking about this and doing our research, how when we came across that, you relaxation is usually the first goal when people think about vacation. That was what that trip was. We were unplugging, we all were having like we just needed to get a quick getaway.
Yeah,
And then
just
we
mamas
turned it
needing their own time
Yes,
together.
and we turned it into a transformative experience by we were s we were doing, what I call the let go ceremony. We wrote down on little pieces of paper things that we wanted to let go of, that we just needed to release. Actually, we did too. So we did the let go and we burned it. We ended up burning those little pieces of paper so we didn't have to talk about them anymore and we didn't have to think about it. We were leaving it there. And then we stood out at the water, we picked up shells and we whispered into the shells our wishes and our good, we put out the good vibes. We threw them out into the ocean so that they're out in the universe. And what I loved was everybody jumped on board and we all this came together real quick, like in
Yeah,
an
it was
idea.
amazing. I was all for it. But what, you know what I thought was really interesting about, write three things that you want to leave behind after this trip, and things that you are, either whether it's you feel guilty, whether it's you uh are overworking, whether it's, whatever it is. It was so nice to write those down and give them away. But we all had very similar ones, which was interesting. And I
Yeah.
think as moms, then we tend to have that, So that was an amazing. I thought that that was definitely, it
It was
definitely,
kind of a combination of the 2. It just shows
yeah.
you that you can have both in such a small it doesn't take a lot to make a good wellness type of retreat. But if you are interested into like an organized one or whatever, Denise and I did do some research and found ones that we would like to go to. So Denise, what did you find when you were researching types of
So
retreats?
I'm super stoked about this. So, for like a yoga and meditation retreat, there is Sacred Grove Retreat right here in Gold Hill, North Carolina, which is near Kings Mountain for our local peeps. And so they offer different things, like they have yurts all around the property. There's walking trails, there's a labyrinth, there's the vortex, there's a fire pit, a butterfly garden, outdoor kitchens and showers. I think this would be so cool for us to go there. And there's different types of yurts. There's the little baby yurt that only has sleeps two. Then there's bigger yurts that sleep. The yummy yurt was one of them. And it talked about how peaceful it is, and when it's raining and at night it kind of just glows white on the inside, and it's got, it's just very peaceful, very zen. So I thought that was really cool. Now, the labyrinth, I really didn't know much about the labyrinth. And they have one on property, and maybe we can pop a picture in here or something. But labyrinths can be found etched in floors of many old cathedrals in Europe. And it says they have a seven-circuit outdoor labyrinth lined with white stones that can be used for walking, meditation, centering, quiet the mind, prayer, healing, problem solving, and connecting with spirit. It's a great tool used for letting go of things that no longer serve you. So that labyrinth that they have is really cool. The walking trails, the yurts, like this is a really, really, really very cool place to be one with nature,
Yeah.
and really reconnect. So I think that that one definitely I'd be willing to check out. Another one that I've been wanting to go to is, have you ever heard of llama trekking?
You
Because
have mentioned this to me
I
before.
know I so
Yes.
want to do it, because so Divine Llama Vineyards has llama trekking. So their version is like says, break away from the daily grind of stressful work and come out to the country. Enjoy the rolling mountains, quiet forest, and fresh air around the Divine Llama Vineyards. So, and then it says it makes it all better in the company of a llama. So essentially what you do is you have this picnic lunch and you got your wine and you trek out with your llama into the hills, and then you have like a picnic lunch out in the middle of the hills, and you just reconnect with nature, and the llamas bring your picnic and your wine. I just think the concept is really cool, and I would absolutely love to go on that. Do you want to go llama trekking with me, Cheryl?
I would totally go llama trekking. I would definitely do that. And we have mentioned it, so we should put it on our list for 2025. And it's here. It's not that far. We can
It's
actually
not. It's not that far.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
we're very lucky that we have a lot of places. Like I did not realize that the yoga and meditation retreat was that close to us either. Um, then you can do stuff like things that I do on the regular basis, like nature-based travel, like hiking trips. I love to do waterfall hikes, suspension bridge. So another cool thing is, and it kind of is, I don't know if you call it like frou-frou or whatever, but have you ever heard the term forest bathing? Do you know what that is?
So I do know that you have mentioned this before, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's something you talked about a long time ago, but I feel like it's kind of fallen. So tell us what it is and how you plan to bring it back into what your
Yes,
2025
so
year.
I actually have not done a motivational training for our agents recently, but that was in that. And so forest bathing is the practice of immersing yourself in nature in a mindful way, using your senses to derive a whole range of benefits for your physical, mental, emotional, and social health. So it's also known as Shinrin Yoko and Yoku, I should say. And then Shinrin means forest and Yoku means bathing. So essentially, it's like getting out into nature. If you're willing to, and it could be simple as going to your back grass and putting your feet in the grass, having a mindful, like maybe a breathing session, grounding yourself back to nature, just trying to let go of your stress and your anxiety. It's very, very effective. And I think that most people, and it doesn't have to be this transcendental thing out in this yurt or whatever. It can be as simple as going outside and regrounding, getting back, touching nature, kind of just making yourself one with the world, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm going to commit to do that more often than I do, which is not enough right now. I am kind of a pansy ass, but I don't really like to go out in my bare feet in the grass. But I'm gonna work on it because A, there's fire ants out there sometimes, or
Yeah,
there
but
could
if
be.
you go to one of these retreats where they have it
I'm
set
gonna
up,
have to let it
yes,
go. That's where you just let it go, and you have to commit to it. And I think
right.
that I need to do more of committing to being one with nature because you can always
Absolutely.
shower.
Yes, absolutely. So I did find, I'm sorry, is that before I
Yeah,
jump into it,
I
I
was
was
pretty much
excited.
I was pretty much
Yeah,
wrapping up.
because I somehow ended up doing a different rabbit hole when I was looking for one of the things we tasked each other with when we were bringing information to the table about this episode was go find a retreat or something like that that we would want to do.
Yeah.
So I did. I researched this as if I was booking it for a client and it was my kind of like dream retreats. I found two and then I have a third kind of like idea, but I realized
Okay. Let's hear it.
so my first one that I fell in love with, and if you notice on my notes, I don't you guys can't see this, but Denise will see. You can see on my bullet points, I put an exclamation mark too many times because I thought, oh, this is the best thing. And then after every one, it was exclamation mark. Okay. So six senses, Douro Valley in Portugal, and I hope I said that correct. So I went and planned as if I was going to this 5-night retreat. So this is in wine country. They have a wine library with daily tastings and wine on tap.
Girlfriend, I'm there. I'm
When I
already
was
there.
reading the descriptions, because I just did, like a quick defined descriptions of one that would
You
fit
said
me. And
wine
this is
on
not a,
tap?
yes, wine on tap.
Nice. It's my type of retreat. I'm
Yeah, there's
already there.
like
It's
some
in
buzzwords
Portugal
you can,
though.
yeah, it is in Portugal, which is one of the places I would love to go. So
Yeah.
now this is what they talk about at this location. It's not meant to go there to explore Portugal. So this would be one that you either want to be familiar with or you want to stay on property. It even tells you that at the website that this is somewhere
Yeah.
you are coming to stay. Here's the
hmm
experiences. I did listen to how this is pronounced, but I'm apologize if I mispronounce it. Azulejos. Oh my gosh, I'm horrible. Can you read my notes and see
All
and
right, let me see. Well, I didn't read this part.
I'm very phonetic when it comes to spelling and pronunciation, so I anyway, it is painted tiles in the national art. That's their national art. One of their national
Okay.
arts is painted tiles, and it is displayed throughout all of their like throughout town and on churches and things like that. So you can
Yeah.
experience that at this Six Senses Douro Valley. They have an alchemy bar where you learn about the healing power of plants. You can experience the Portuguese kitchen tales, which is a lunch exploring the local cuisine. And every bite has a story, which that they have, as they're cooking for you, they're explaining where their food was
Yeah.
coming from, all about the local produce, the local things. I was reading it, it was amazing. Wine experiences. I really didn't even dig any
You
further
already
because
had me. Yep.
that was that word right there. This one I thought was interesting, tree climbing. These are all experiences you can have at this resort. And then they have the wellness and spa. This was absolutely amazing and so unique. Wellness screening. This is where they look at your biometrics and create a plan for during your stay. So they
Yeah.
do, you can schedule this like the beginning of your stay, and then you have a plan of what your wellness treatments or your wellness experiences would be throughout your stay. Sleep upgrade. They will do a consultation, sleep tracking, and get your sleep back on track. And they mention types of sheets, and like they're just going to go above and beyond to reset your sleep routine, your sleep bod, like all of that.
Yeah,
It,
that's really interesting
I know,
too.
right? A skin
Hmm.
analysis. And this was really interesting, biohacking, where it uses smart tech to optimize your body's natural processes. And I was like, all of this was so interesting because I felt like in the research we had done, this one checked so many boxes of what we kind of
That
highlighted.
one seems like they do a lot of work behind the scenes, and then you benefit from
Right.
what their knowledge is. So that sounds
Yes.
pretty cool as well.
I will say, and because I went through this
It
whole
sounds
thing
like
as
it
if
could
I
be
were
expensive though.
bingo. But I will say, I learned when I was doing this, I researched it as if I were booking this for a client or I was the
So
client because I
how
was.
much does your client need to have to go on that type of trip?
So for 5 nights in Portugal now, it would be $8,000 for their room. And
Okay.
it does include now some of those activities that you add on obviously do have an extra fee, as does anywhere. It's not an all-inclusive.
Right.
This is not an all-inclusive vibe. This is something that you are planning
Yeah.
and scheduling and going to.
Yep.
But this was when I that was my first like, "Oh, my idea of a retreat is very detailed, and I wanna fix my whole body when I go." So, I thought, "Well, let me try something local, a domestic." I wanted to, be on US side. So I checked out,
Wait, but you missed the best part. They
oh,
allow
yes!
small pets.
I did. I wrote that specifically for you because you could take Riley, but obviously you can't overseas. It's different. But if you are in the area and you have pets, they do allow small pets. I think it was up to 15 pounds. Um, so then I thought, okay, well, let me check and see what stateside, if there's something here. And one I
That's
found that I
actually
loved.
not as bad of a price as I would have thought all the way over in Portugal. So that's not that
That did
bad.
not include flights. I will be
Oh,
full
okay.
disclaimer, transparency. That did not include flights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a bit spendy, but
But
there's a lot going
yeah.
on there. So what's your next one?
Amman in New York. It's called Amman, New York. And this is the I went through and did their and selected their experience package, the ultimate Amman, New York experience. And here's what it includes.
Okay.
It's a 3 night, includes daily breakfast, comp bar with espresso setup. That was like gold for me because I'm
I know you're all about
yeah.
espresso.
Use of bikes, and I thought, how awesome is that to already have for being in New York City. Daily cultural programming, 2 60-minute mindful meditations, 2 chirotherapy chamber sessions, a 3-hour banya experience for 2, lunch tasting and dinner tasting menus for 2, a jazz club meet and greet. Um, oh, and that one was the price tag on that one when I added everything I wanted to do was $14,000.
Oh, well then.
So, I
You gotta
did
really
when
wanna
once
get
I
well.
realized yes, once I realized that if I now these are I put together, like, my dream experience is what I was doing to figure out, and then I was like, "Okay, this is a little bit out of my budget, so what can I do next?" So then I looked into wellness cruises and all-inclusive retreats, which you and
Yeah.
I love both cruising and all-inclusives.
Yes.
And for cruises, a lot of the wellness and retreat style cruises are actually hosted by someone, not necessarily the cruise line. Some cruise lines do offer like themed cruises, but a lot of the things that you would sign up for are offered and sponsored by a company or a travel agent or a group of people who put those together. So you can create a wellness cruise with like-minded people in mind, whether it's your friend
Sure.
group, your family. This is more of a DIY where you're going to use the cruise amenities and resources that they have and create your wellness cruise. Now, there are some cruise lines that I think are more better to do this type of retreat or event on, Just because, and Virgin Voyages came top of mind because
Yeah, absolutely. That's what came to my mind too, because they absolutely focus on wellness and they have
Mhm.
classes, personalized classes, and yoga and meditation, all that stuff. And their spas are supposed to be amazing.
Yes.
That's on our bucket list.
So
Virtual voyage.
organizing and creating that type of wellness cruise event, which would be a group event that people can put together, they have a lot of this stuff already incorporated in their cruise that you can then create a great package to do. The other is all inclusives. There are a lot of all inclusives that are wellness themed and wellness, what's the word I'm looking for? Focused.
Yeah.
So you can do it individually. If you want to do it with a group, you can set that up, and it is all across when it comes to the budget and the style that you want. You can create it. If it's not out there, you can create it. But as you saw, between Denise and I, we both kind of went the scale of it, where you can start here and then you go up there. It is a very broad opportunity to travel and focus on your wellness.
Yeah, and these are just some of the ones that we found and we researched, but at the end of the day, you can do like you can rent an RV with RV share and you
Absolutely.
can, get out with nature and find stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunities out there that you can it doesn't have to be cookie cutter. It doesn't have to be either the yoga retreat or these high-end places. It can be many different things.
Right.
So, just to recap the benefits of wellness travel, there's the physical and the mental benefits, improved fitness, stress relief, detoxification, better clarity, reduced anxiety, and a sense of renewal. Um, definitely, I will absolutely say, on when I on the days that I work out or do a meditation or do yoga, something for self-care, it absolutely makes me feel better. I don't know about you, but I can feel it. I can feel it putting my when I'm trying to be thoughtful about self-care or
Right.
bettering myself. So I think that this is a good opportunity, and we have a lot of opportunities to of places we can go around us. So I say, like, let's go there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And the to continue with the benefits of it, the social benefit, which again, we really, I think, became aware of
On
because
a
of
beach
lock.
trip,
Yeah, well, and
too.
the lockdown in general, when we realized how much socializing with
Right. We
like-minded
missed
people
it.
do. Yes. So
Yeah.
when you are actively and intentionally planning and organizing a trip of this type, you are planning to be around other people that are focusing on the same thing. So if you are going on say a yoga retreat, all of those around there are there for the same purpose. So it's not really like you're jumping on a cruise and thinking, "Oh, I really want to have a relaxing," and you end up on the party ship, and or you end up on the spring break one with all the kids, and you're not getting the same vibe from everyone that you were seeking. So being intentional in finding this type of travel is beneficial because you are surrounding yourself with those that have the same goal that you do.
Right.
We also have it's a desire to connect with oneself and disconnect. This is one of the things that you and I had talked about, that people want to kind of, what's the word? We talk disconnect, but I can't think of the word. I lost it. Where they get away from all technology. I forgot what there's like a word for it, but
Yeah. You
um
just want to, yeah, I think
unplug.
disconnects.
I can't
Oh,
unplug is the
unplug.
right
Yeah. I was
word.
like,
Yeah,
disconnects accurate, unplugs accurate. Yeah.
well,
You
and
just want
there
to
are
get off your devices.
correct. There are specific places that it's all about unplugging is a big part. So they're like, you can't bring anything. They don't want you to
Yeah.
bring
Don't
it.
bring your cell phone. Don't
I'm
bring your
never going to be okay
tablet.
with completely unplugging. I will be 100% honest with that. I will
Well,
never,
I think you have to have for like emergency for your children. Like if Reese is
you have to have
calling
a
me, you know
plan.
what I mean? Like I would need to be able to be like, I need to make sure my kids are okay. You know what I mean? If they need, there
Yeah.
has to be a little bit of limits for me personally. But I like the idea of unplugging and focusing on what the task at hand is, you know?
I can totally turn off. Like I often, when I'm working, I actually do turn my phone on do not disturb during certain hours so that
Yeah,
I'm not getting notifications. But to completely unplug, that would be a challenge for me that I would
same.
try. But And then the really big part of making intentional plans to one, take care of self-care and the wellness travel and things like that is to avoid burnout. We also found this out. We just became a lot of self-aware of, I think, of ourselves. Maybe it's also our age and we're getting to that point where we're like, man, we really got to start taking better care of ourselves and our mind, the whole picture, the whole package, mind, body, soul.
I think we have to
So,
focus on not ever feeling guilty about self-care. I feel like as moms,
yes.
we give to our children, we give to our husbands or wives or, everybody, our friends. We rarely, I think that that needs to be a priority for me this year is to try to make sure that I'm doing more self-care for myself. Because
Mhm.
I was just saying this to my friends the other night. You can't pour from an empty cup. And we continue to say that. So we have
Yeah.
to give more back to ourselves so that we can be in our best mental and physical shape that we can help our loved ones and our friends and everybody like that. I think that's a good takeaway for me personally that I got out of doing the research for this actual episode.
Absolutely. And what I got, I would say my takeaway from this was we have incorporated wellness care,
We
self-care and
do it.
wellness travel in
Yeah,
travel. We're just not intentional about it. And I think stepping up that part, we would have more
and
benefit
more
and there'd be more,
frequency.
yes. And let's make a commitment to make this a priority in 2025 and be more intentional in one self-care and two wellness travel and purpose, because it's I'm okay with not having a purpose when I travel too, but there are times where I think we need to be intentional for with our travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, if you guys are liking what we're saying and you're thinking, well, shit, I mean, we need to take like a wellness travel trip just for the sake of uh, doing all that stuff, plugging in for me, giving me the mental, giving me the physical. So we, as our research progressed, we can give you ideas. Look for us. Reach out to Suitcase Divas, and as you know, we're amazing travel agents outside of podcast hosts. So we can definitely hook you up if you're looking for a wellness retreat. You can find us on our Facebook, Suitcase Divas podcast. We have a website, suitcasedivas.com. So just look us up at all our places. If you'd like to reach out, if you'd like us to put something together, for you. You absolutely deserve that. Make 2025 the year that you include some type of wellness travel in your life this year. What do you say?
I agree. And we'll make that our goal as well.
We will ride that train with you, or perhaps a bike. Let's pedal.
See, I'm more let's I was okay on the
You're
train.
like, you're like, let's take the train.
I
Well,
mean, I have limits to my I'm not yeah, I'm have limits. I'm good with the train and I don't need to I do need to exercise, but let's be real, I'm not going to.
I'm going. We're yes, you're going to exercise. We don't have to do bike rides, but we are definitely going to be more intentional about our different workout. We're trying a few different workouts this year. We did the bungee fitness. That was pretty cool. Next,
Yes.
we're going to look at the aerial yoga, and that wellness gym also has like a salt room, and it's got like a float room, I think. So we've got all kinds of different things we're going to practice this year, but we're also going to include it in our travel as well. And I think that's what we could do to just make 2025 a more healthy year.
Yeah.
We
Well,
encourage you to do the same. So I think that
mhm.
probably wraps up this episode. We appreciate you hanging with us and be well in 2025.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.